Have you ever stopped to think about the real hidden heroes inside your phone or your laptop? Even those smart gadgets dotted around your house.
Hmm.
I'm not really talking about the shiny case or the screen. I mean the essential bits, often totally invisible, components that actually make the whole thing work.
Right. The unsung components.
Exactly. They're not the stars, but they are, well, the silent workhorses making sure everything runs just right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's unpack this. Today we're peeling back the layers on one of these super crucial yet pretty much unknown players. The global semiconductor process tape market.
Yeah. Sounds niche, right?
I know. Process tape. Sounds maybe as exciting as, I don't know, duct tape. But honestly, these are not your average tapes you find in a drawer.
Not at all.
These are highly specialized materials.
Yeah.
Critical. Almost invisible, like we said. And they're quietly powering the entire global setup for making semiconductors.
Fundamentally.
Without them, those complex microchips, the brains in everything we use, they just couldn't be made with the kind of precision we expect now, or the reliability.
What's fascinating here is exactly that role. It's quiet, yeah, but utterly essential. We're not talking about one single product either.
Oh.
No, semiconductor process tapes, it's a whole family, really. Highly engineered materials, often incredibly thin films, specialized glues, adhesives, designed for the really delicate, precise stages.
Like what stages?
Think about wafer back grinding. You start with silicon wafers, maybe thick as a credit card,
Okay.
and they get ground down meticulously, maybe thinner than a human hair, sometimes even thinner than that. Improves performance, helps with heat.
Wow.
Then there's dicing. Cutting the wafer into thousands of individual chips needs to be incredibly clean, precise cuts, lasers, diamond blades.
Right.
And even in the final packaging steps, these tapes are just indispensable. And as chips get smaller, faster, more complex, well, the precision these tapes provide, it's not just important.
It's paramount.
Absolutely paramount, foundational, really, to everything digital.
That level of precision for something just called tape is kind of mind-blowing. So for you, our listener, our mission today is, well, to shed some light on this vital market. It's growing quietly, but significantly.
Definitely.
We want to understand that growth, see which parts of the world are leading the way, and crucially, connect these hidden heroes back to the tech you use every day. And just so you know, our insights today are grounded in a pretty comprehensive report from Cognitive Market Research. Gives us a solid, data-driven base for this deep dive. So let's talk a bit more about why they're so critical. You mentioned back grinding, dicing. What happens if these tapes aren't perfect? What are the stakes?
Oh, the stakes are huge. Absolutely. Imagine trying to build a tiny microscopic city. Super high-tech.
Okay.
Block by intricate block. Every street, every building, every wire placed with almost atom-level precision.
Right.
Chip manufacturing is basically like that, but even smaller. Often in clean rooms, thousands of times cleaner than a hospital operating room.
Incredible.
And in that process, these process tapes, they're among the most indispensable tools. Like invisible hands holding everything steady.
Holding the wafer still.
Exactly. They secure that fragile silicon wafer during these really intense processes, prevent even a tiny bit of movement, a micron of misalignment.
And if they fail?
Well, if a tape fails, even slightly during, say, dicing, you could wreck thousands of chips on that single wafer. Just like that. Huge material loss, massive production delays, and ultimately, dodgy devices ending up with consumers. Not good.
Yeah.
So their properties, the mechanics, the specific stickiness, sticky enough to hold, but then peels off totally clean, no residue, even how they handle temperature extremes. It's all meticulously engineered.
So they contribute directly to the chip working properly.
Directly. They're like temporary scaffolding, precision guides, protective layers, all for these tiny technological marvels.
So it's definitely not just tape. It's a whole suite of specialized precision solutions. Does that mean there are different types of tape for different jobs? That adds complexity, right? It's
exactly right. It's definitely not one size fits all. These specialized materials, they vary a lot. You've got dicing tapes, for instance.
Okay.
They hold the wafer during that high-speed cutting. They absorb stress, vibrations, stop cracks from forming.
Makes sense.
Then you have things like UV curable tapes. Pretty neat, actually. You expose them to UV light, and they lose their stickiness.
For easy removal.
Precisely. Clean, no residue left behind. Then there are protective tapes, just for handling or during grinding. Even specialized packaging tapes for managing delicate dyes during the final assembly.
Wow.
Each type, it's engineered differently. Unique stickiness, thickness, how much heat it can take, all tailored to the specific demands of that one step in the process.
Right.
And really, this innovation in the tapes themselves, that's what helps enable the push for smaller, faster, more powerful chips.
That context really hammers home how critical these are. And because they're so indispensable, this market, it's not just ticking along, is it? It's seeing some really impressive financial growth.
Oh, absolutely.
It's kind of striking how this quiet fundamental role translates into, well, a pretty major financial market globally.
The numbers definitely tell a compelling story. They really validate that foundational role we've been talking about.
So what are we looking at?
Well, back in 2021, this global market was already valued at $2.09 billion.
$2 billion. Okay.
Looking ahead, the projection for 2025 is around $2.7 billion. That's quite a jump in just a few years.
Yeah, it is.
But it keeps going. It's actually on track to hit a pretty substantial $4.47 billion by 2033.
Wow, nearly $4.5 billion.
Exactly. And what that represents is a really consistent global compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of 6.5%.
Okay, 6.5% year on year, basically.
Basically, yes. That steady growth, it just underscores the market stability, and it's absolutely vital, non-negotiable role. Chip production, precision, yield, reliability, those are everything.
Right.
So it signals the sustained fundamental demand. It's driven by our ever-increasing global appetite for all things digital.
I have to say, seeing those kinds of numbers for what sounds like such a niche component, it's genuinely eye-opening. Really puts the scale of this, well, hidden industry into perspective.
It does.
But obviously, growth isn't uniform everywhere. Not every corner of the globe is growing at that same 6.5% pace. So let's zoom in a bit. Where are we seeing the most growth? What's fueling it in different places?
Yeah, good question. If we look globally, the Asia-Pacific region, it really stands out, leads the pack by quite a margin.
How much?
Well, its market share is huge. It was scaling from about $759 million back in 2021 to a projected $1.7 billion by 2033.
Doubled, more than doubled.
Pretty much. And that translates into the highest regional CGR globally. It's coming in at a really robust 7.16%.
Higher than the global average.
Significantly higher. And within that powerhouse region, you've got China and India really shining as growth engines.
Right.
China's advancing at 7.5% CAGR. India, even more remarkably, at 7.65% CAGR.
Wow. What's driving that specifically?
It's largely propelled by massive strategic investments. Governments putting serious money into domestic semiconductor manufacturing. Plus, expanding consumer electronics markets in both countries.
Makes sense.
And it's not just them. You've got established players like Japan, Taiwan, and the whole Southeast Asia region also contributing significantly. Ensures that broad regional expansion.
So Asia-Pacific is clearly dominant.
Oh, yeah. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, its dominance reflects those broader global trends, right? It's the heartland of electronics manufacturing and consumption.
But does that concentration pose a risk?
That's a really important point. It absolutely does create a concentrated risk. Think about it. A major disruption there, maybe geopolitical, natural disaster, whatever.
Yeah.
It could have massive knock-on effects. Global electronics availability could tank. It really highlights the potential vulnerability of having such an efficient but geographically focused supply chain.
Interesting. It's not just growth, it's strategy and risk involved.
Exactly. This regional leadership isn't just about volume, it's setting the pace for innovation in manufacturing, too.
Okay, so Asia-Pacific is the powerhouse. What about North America? Similar drivers or a different picture?
Moving across the globe, North America is definitely seeing steady growth, too, but maybe with a different focus, often more centered on advanced R&D, specialized high-value chip production. Revenues there are set to rise quite significantly, from around $593 million in 2021 to nearly $1.19 billion by 2033.
Still doubling, roughly.
Roughly, yeah, which gives it a very respectable 6.07% CAGR. A bit below the global average, but strong.
And the U.S. is the main player there.
The U.S., as you'd expect, dominates the region. Its contribution should pass $950 million by 2033. But interestingly, within North America, Canada actually outperforms the regional average slightly, showing a healthy 6.5% CAGR.
Huh. Why is that?
It seems to highlight sustained investment and a growing presence, maybe in niche areas or collaborative research efforts within the semiconductor sector up there.
That is an interesting detail. Okay, what about Europe? Often known for precision engineering. How does it fit in?
Europe also shows strong, diversified expansion. Its market's growing from about $473 million in 2021, projected to hit $970 million by 2033.
Also roughly doubling.
Right, and that's a 6.3% CAGR. Pretty close to the global average. Now, if you look at individual countries, Germany stands out.
Expected, maybe?
Yeah, posting a strong 6.8% CAGR, largely driven by its big automotive and industrial electronic sectors. They increasingly need advanced chips.
Right, cars need so many chips now.
Exactly. But what's also really interesting is the acceleration in the rest of Europe. That category is growing even faster at 7.2% CAGR.
Faster than Germany.
Yeah, which suggests a broader adoption of these technologies. It looks like a build-out of secondary manufacturing hubs, specialized foundries spreading across the continent.
So the demand isn't just in the traditional industrial center.
Seems like it's spreading out, maybe linked to those efforts for more semiconductor self-sufficiency you hear about in Europe.
Could be. Okay, looking further south now, South America. Yeah. What's the story there?
South America is definitely showing emerging momentum. It's starting from a smaller base, of course.
Right.
But revenues are growing quite quickly, from $126 million in 2021, projected to $326 million by 2033. That's a strong 6.7% CAGR.
Faster than North America or Europe overall.
Yeah. We're seeing pretty solid momentum across several countries. Brazil, Colombia, and the kind of rest of South America category. They're each getting close to 6.9% CAGR.
So what's behind that?
It points to a developing semiconductor ecosystem, driven by a rising local demand for electronics and a growing, though still maybe nascent, electronics manufacturing and assembly presence there. It's a market with real potential.
Okay, and the last two regions, the Middle East and Africa, similar patterns or unique factors?
The Middle East shows a slower but still consistent adoption rate. The market there is climbing from $91 million in 2021 to about $172 million by 2033.
Okay, slower growth.
Right, that's a 4.9% CAGR. Within the region, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, the UAE, they're leading, often spurred by those ambitious national digitalization plans, big investments in data centers.
But still moderate compared to Asia.
Exactly. Growth is steady, but it's moderate compared to that explosive expansion in Asia-Pacific. Reflects maybe a different stage of industrial development in semiconductors, perhaps more reliance on imports for the really advanced stuff.
Got it. And Africa.
Africa is also driving local demand. Its market's advancing from $53 million in 2021 to nearly $104 million by 2033. That's growing at a 5.4% CAGR.
So slightly faster than the Middle East.
A little bit, yeah. Nigeria and South Africa are identified as the key drivers there, particularly in electronics assembly, chip packaging.
Interesting.
It indicates a growing local capacity and demand for these essential components as the continent's tech infrastructure develops. You know, moving beyond just consumption towards more localized production elements, it's definitely a region to watch for long-term growth.
Okay, so we've gone from the truly microscopic world of these process tapes all the way up to a global market worth billions with really diverse regional stories. Which brings us back to the big picture. What does this all actually mean for you, the listener? You know, maybe holding a smartphone right now or working in tech.
Yeah.
We've covered a niche component, lots of market numbers.
Yeah.
How does this connect back to everyday life and the tech future?
Well, I think it really boils down to one core message.
Yeah.
This specialized segment, yeah, it's quiet, operates deep behind the scenes, but it is absolutely indispensable, period.
Right.
With revenues heading towards that $4.5 billion mark by 2033, this market is just going to keep being this critical underpinning for the entire global semiconductor supply chain.
And that supply chain
Underpins virtually every digital device we touch, every single day. Your phone, your car's computer, smart home stuff, the massive servers running the internet, AI, all of it.
So the quality of these tapes matters directly.
Directly impacts the speed, the reliability, the cost, even the feasibility of the next generation of tech that shapes our lives.
And innovation has to continue there too, presumably.
Absolutely. Looking ahead, that relentless drive for even smaller, more powerful, more energy-efficient chips. It means tape innovation isn't just about market growth. It's about solving the next set of manufacturing challenges.
Like what?
Maybe handling even more extreme temperatures or new types of materials or components that are even more delicate. It's constant evolution, which raises an important question.
That's a fantastic way to frame it. These tapes aren't static. They have to keep evolving, too. It really is incredible to think how something you've likely never heard of, a piece of industrial sticky tape, essentially, is so profoundly fundamental to everything digital. It's gone from this niche thing to a multi-billion-dollar market. The semiconductor process tape market?
Yeah.
Truly a silent giant, enabling our whole connected world.
Couldn't have said it better.
Well, thank you for joining us on this really fascinating deep dive into a corner of the tech world that, yeah, many people just don't even know exists. It's a real testament to that intricate hidden web of innovation supporting modern life.
Indeed. It makes you think, doesn't it? Next time you pick up your smartphone or use your computer, maybe even talk to your smart speaker, just take a second. Consider that whole intricate web of specialized, often unseen industries like this semiconductor process tape market.
Yeah?
Quietly, critically making it all possible. What other unassuming components do you think are out there? The real unsung heroes of modern tech, without which, our digital lives would just grind to a halt.